Hello, welcome back to another Website Depot podcast. As ever, I'm your host, Greg Benovent, and I am once again very happy to be joined by Noël Dombroski. Noël, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good today, Greg. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be back. It's we were talking before. It feels like it's been so long since we did this, even though it hasn't been. Both of us have changed our hair in differing ways, not specifically for this podcast. We're glad to be able to show it to you, the gentle listener and viewer. So you could probably tell from our tone so far is that this is kind of in a festive, celebratory-esque mood. And that's part of what we're going to touch on today is that, while the pandemic and this era has certainly not ended by any means, and we are in a vastly different place than we were just 1 year ago. Hence, this Thanksgiving is going to be different for your customers and clients, regardless of what industry you're in. And what you do in your marketing should probably reflect that. So without me talking over too much of what we're going to go over, what can you tell us about all this, Noël?
Thanksgiving is coming up, and while I think everybody's kind of started their planning, and I think everybody should have by now, there's a lot that you can tap into in terms of content, in terms of marketing. So today we can kind of talk about both kind of like what's going on in the world and how that relates to marketing around this holiday that was very different this time last year.
Yeah.
And you can kind of reflect on the growth, I think, as a people, but also, as a business in terms of how you're pivoting your marketing for the season. A great example is being thankful, and in your copy, in your social media, your email campaigns, thank your customers and your clients because it's been a long year. And without them, you might not be here. I think that's something that we all can relate to in one way or another. And there's a lot of businesses. I have lost so many favorite businesses over this pandemic that I think I wept over a couple of them, that I'm so thankful for the ones that survived. My favorite tattoo shop closed.
Hey. Oh, geez.
And they're so hard to find a good tattoo shop in LA. But
I can't imagine.
But that way, there were ones that we were watching carefully, please, especially if you're a smaller business and you're particularly impacted. I know restaurants were a big one, So I think that there's something to be said for reaching back out and saying, hey, thank you for, all of your help. And that's another way to remind them that you are still here and make them grateful and thankful for you as well.
No, I think that's a great idea in terms of just being thankful, because it's very easy to say that's the most obvious thing in the world to say we're thankful for our customers. If it's sincere, it's not obvious. When you genuinely mean it, it will be genuinely appreciated. That's not to say that you can't say it in a clever way or something like that. But when you are truly thankful, people do appreciate that. Whether you're thankful for your customers, whether you're thankful for a similar business, whether you're thankful for some kind of supplier that you happen to have. So much of marketing is about doing the obvious, clear thing well. And that being thankful is at this time of year is a big part of that. There's no other time of year that you're really able to maximize on this being thankful stuff. That's not just to say, be thankful for, just say you're thankful for something you're not actually thankful for. But there are no doubt people for your business that you are thankful for, and putting that out there in a clear way across multiple platforms of marketing is going to help you quite a bit this year, both in terms of your marketing and just in terms of your business and the way people perceive you.
And at the same time with that, you're kind of tapping into what the collective feeling is everywhere. Like you said, this is the prime time. You can say thank you, all year, but everyone is kind of feeling a little softer and feeling more thankful and thinking about all the things they appreciate in life. Why not remind them that you can be one of them? And that, but also that empathy is that connection. There's a little more magnetism. It lands a little better because people are more receptive, because they're, I don't want to say softer, but I feel like there's more empathy. And if you're worried about driving the point home about how thankful you are, it always helps to include a coupon in your campaigns. It's thank you for being a customer. Here's 20% off. Here's whatever you can afford to do, if you can afford to do it. If not, then, just a simple thank you, I think, still goes a long way.
Right. It's just, yes, you can, all these things that you utilize this time of year, you can do it each year. You can do something different. Yeah. The coupon's a good idea. The little discount, here's just some little anything that goes along with it. This is, I think, again, maybe it's obvious. No, it's something you should always do. These are easy opportunities. Do not let them pass you by.
Absolutely. Another idea is there's a lot of humor to be found in the holiday. And you can have humor in how you thank your customers, especially, based off of whatever your industry is. But there's a lot of humor to be found in Thanksgiving and Christmas, I think, in terms of the universal experiences that we have. The best comedies have slapstick slapstick, and there's nothing more slapstick than holidays with the family. And there's
Certainly.
kind of this universal, I feel like, not angst, but like understanding, like we all have been there. We all have had like either the burnt turkey or the, you know, the arguing cousins and uncles and the dishes. And you can tap into those universal experiences in what you write, you know. And it could be even just a quick line. One of my favorites that has not gotten old for me yet is restaurants that do Thanksgiving. I love when they say, let us do the dishes, because I hate the dishes. And it's something you can laugh at, because it's kind of that, it's that the comedy out of the shared pain of like, we all hate the dishes. You're going to land with everybody, but it's also clever because it feels personal, because it elicits that I hate the dishes, you know, or like you can, I hate making jokes at grandma's expense, but you know, there's a lot of little family things or little cooking things or little ways to get these things in that you can kind of like, where everyone's in on the joke, not where it's like, where it's exclusive or it's niche. It's kind of like tap into what we all have family. We're all, it's a universal experience, and try to also remember that humanity as well in what you're working on.
I'm so glad you said the last part, because you literally took it from me. I was thinking the exact same thing. I understand that many businesses, that was so well spoken. So many businesses be like, okay, you know, oh, we'd love to use humor in holiday marketing, but we're worried about, you know, is this going to come off the wrong way? Is someone going to take this wrong way? And the easiest way to foolproof that is to, you know, for lack of a better phrase, look at who the target of the joke is. Who is it what is it we are laughing at specifically? As long as you can find that, then you can always make marketing that will not, you know, offend or not turn off some important demographic. Like you said, the joke, you know, before you put out some piece of humor, think, who is the victim of this? Who is the target? At whose expense are we laughing? As long as it's not somebody like you mentioned, grandma or a particular group or somebody, you know, that might be down or something like that, something making fun of the dish and how many dishes we have, or, you know, long travel times for the holidays. If the joke is at the expense of some struggle of the holidays that we all share, then you're absolutely good to go. Perhaps even the more exaggerated, the better. But as long as where your humor is targeted and pointed, you're almost invariably going to be fine.
And another thing in terms of that kind of universal experience humor is we're all experiencing something very unique right now, which is this is the first Thanksgiving, well, after the pandemic, because it's still here, but first vaccinated Thanksgiving.
Yeah, after vaccination.
Exactly. So, you know, I'm going to be seeing my grandma this year, which I didn't get to see last year. And we're all kind of, you know, it's a different good feeling. It's a good feeling that we all can be part of. And it can be part of that humor, but it can also be part of that sincerity of like, you know, and that gratefulness. So bring yourself in on that, make yourself part of the family, and bring more of that empathy to your marketing.
That's very well spoken. Just that idea, but that doesn't mean that a lot of people aren't struggling. And there are some folks that are absolutely going to be 100% even after vaccination, after the booster, more comfortable with virtual events and all that kind of thing. But for many, many people, this Thanksgiving is going to be a genuine relief. Really, just incredible moment of being able to see family members for a holiday that they weren't able to last year, or maybe haven't been able to yet. So that's absolutely something that if you can capture that in your marketing, it really is out there waiting for you to do so.
And there's no excuse not to do marketing for Thanksgiving.
Man, absolutely.
It is one of my favorite holidays, and I hate when people skip over it. And everybody makes fun of me because like Thanksgiving. I'm like, yes, first of all, I love food. I love going home. I love football, even though I don't understand it. But I think there's an injustice in skipping Thanksgiving. I think there's part of those universal feelings. You know, there's a way that everybody can fit in. Your insurance or your remediation, you could do a gimmick on burning the house down with the turkey. You know, that's where just going back to the, you know, be part of the family. How do you fit in, even in a hypothetical situation? You know, any industry can find a way to, just kind of like how every cartoon can have a Christmas special or a couple of a Thanksgiving special.
No, I mean, it's so well spoken. I mean, just the idea about how, you know, like we sell swimwear. Okay, then offer a discount for Thanksgiving. This is, you know, looking forward to summer deal. You know, it's the Polar Bear Club discount. There is always some way to tie back to this. I mean, I always think it's something I heard as a kid. Maybe it's one of those statistics that everyone hears and just believes it's true. And I've certainly never looked it up to have it confirmed, but I absolutely believe it is always that line about the Wednesday before Thanksgiving is the biggest party night of the year. bigger than New Year's Eve, bigger than anything else. And hey, maybe that's not true. I kind of think it still is. I think I heard that when I was a child, and I tend to believe that's still the case. And that shows that, hey, maybe to you, Thanksgiving isn't the biggest deal, but boy, it sure is to a lot of other folks. And there's always something that you can do to take advantage of that.
Absolutely. Well, that's, so many high school reunions happen that night, at least where I'm from. That was a big night for it. Everybody gets together with the friends because Thursday's for the family. And so
you probably flew in on that Wednesday, if not the day before.
Exactly. So if you're not marketing for dinner, then you could market for the party. You can be the place where it's at. You can bring some stuff along. You can go back to the turkey. You can always laugh at others' comical misfortune if it's blown out of proportion. There's always a place for it.
You're right. And I think what you're saying like that, and it just hit me now, is that when we say like, oh, you should market for Thanksgiving, that doesn't mean you got to dump your whole marketing budget into, making this turkey themed campaign, regardless of what your industry is, even if it's just an email blast, a flash sale, a social media posts, a short video, an animation. If we go by the idea that social media and marketing is a conversation, which in many ways it is, you don't want to be totally silent and away from a holiday. That's not being a part of a conversation. That's removing yourself from a conversation.
Exactly. And you should always fight to be in that room, always.
100%.
Yeah, I don't know. That's some of the best tips I could think of.
Right. And it just hit me, in the true spirit of Thanksgiving, we're overstuffed. We gave you too much there, the gentle listener viewing this. This is the point where we lay on the couch and pretend to care about an NFL game that doesn't involve either of our teams. It's a proud Thanksgiving traditions. I mean, that is one of the great things about Thanksgiving, is that certain feeling of like, well, we've done enough.
Well, to be fair, Greg, you get to go watch football, and I have to go edit and do the dishes. So
it's not a perfect analogy. It's not. It was a metaphor. We're recording this on a Tuesday. No one's watching football, but you get the idea about finding a way to fit these things in, whether or not it's to move it in to take advantage of the moment. That speaks to it. Yeah, I'm going to go back to work too. I'm glad we playing around. but I think that nice little riff we just had there just shows how easy it is to be a part of the marketing of something like this. Just it doesn't have to be something you spent hours in the bunker trying to figure out. It can just be a few moments of real human interaction that you then share with the world.
Even just one good moment.
Right. That's all I got. This was great. If I don't see Noël or whoever it is watching or listening to this, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. All right. Well, this was great. Noël, I could talk to you all day about this. Thanks for doing this here again.
Of course, anytime, Greg.
Cool. All right. Well, on behalf of Website Depot, my name is Greg Benevent. Take it easy. Have a good night.